But first, we are in the season to be jolly, the season of gift giving, and we have a gentleman with us who has some great gifts, some great stocking stuffers for you. Sterling Ashby, who has created this wonderful line of action figures. Sterling, so good that you could be with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Now tell us a little bit about these action figures that I'm looking at. Okay, tell me about who this one is. Who's he?
Sure. My introductory series includes Matthew Henson, who you're holding in your hand.
Okay.
A lot of people know the story of Matthew Henson, the explorer that traveled to the North Pole with Robert Peary. And, you know, there's a historical debate over who got there first, Matthew Henson or Robert Peary. But Matthew Henson was part of Robert Peary's group.
Okay.
And he's a real role model for some young people, and that story needs to be told.
These are so different. It looks like Matthew Henson is still trying to make some moves here. I'm trying to get him to keep still for me. But let's talk about this one here.
Sure. Then we have Benjamin Banneker, helped lay out the city. Everyone knows who Benjamin Banneker is.
Oh, no question.
And, you know, as I studied and prepared for this tour, you know, Benjamin Banneker did some awesome things. Besides astronomy, besides helping to survey the city, he also challenged Thomas Jefferson in a series of letters over the intellectual capabilities of African Americans.
Now, I'm just curious. Now, these are wonderful. These are 2 of 3. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, who's the third
And the
person?
third is Bessie Coleman.
Let's open up Bessie. Let's see if we can move Benjamin and Matthew out of the way here.
And Bessie's in the packaging here. The packaging includes a short bio on the person, along with a longer bio on the website, and some accessories related to Bessie.
That is fabulous. Now, I'm curious to find out how you came up with this concept. What motivated you to create this line of action figures?
It's probably a series of things, not totally a historical accident. One, probably an inclination to do some entrepreneurial things. I'm trained as an engineer and as a lawyer, and I practiced law for a corporate law firm for over 5 years.
Now, that's very different than starting a toy line.
But some of my time in the law firm led to some volunteer work, and some getting out to, say, Kelly Miller Middle School.
I'm very familiar with Kelly Miller.
And Lincoln Multicultural Middle School, and helping with the debate team at both schools. So interacting with young people and realizing you have to come at them in new ways.
Now that's serious, you know. You can't just go the traditional way, the history books and so forth. What a great way to teach history and through something entertaining.
And so we're trying to ignite and bring alive some of the stories of these individuals. But they also are they're toys.
Yeah.
And they're fun. I mean, if you pick one up there,
okay, show me what I can do with Benjamin Banneker.
I mean, you know, he moves in all the joints. So as a child is, you know, learning the story, he's putting him right next to his Superman, his Batman, and he's creating, you know, a story for him. But also, it maybe might lead to a question and answer between parent and child about who is this and why is he important.
Absolutely.
So, I'm not original in this line or this thinking of bringing historical figures to action figures. A few other companies have done it recently, but I just felt they were ignoring certain communities.
Now let me ask you this. What made you choose these particular individuals as your first set of action figures?
I mean, particularly their action and accomplishments in the time periods in which they lived. Again, Bessie Coleman coming out of sharecropping and imagining and saying from a sharecropping situation in Texas, I want to fly planes. I want to be a stunt pilot at a time when no other African-American woman had ever flown a plane, and very few women generally. And then having to go outside of this country to learn how to do that. Matthew Henson, before Matthew Henson met Robert Peary, which was great in the work they did together, but he'd already traveled the entire world. He traveled around the world by himself by the time he was 17 years old. And he met Peary in a shop here in Washington, D.C.
You know, it's quite interesting as you're talking about these action figures and talking about their accomplishments and the historical background. These are some of the individuals who we don't hear enough about during Black History Month, or just period. You know, those are the ones who are forgotten about. Their contributions are slightly forgotten about because we think about Martin Luther King, we think about Malcolm X, we think about those individuals. But we don't talk as much about these individuals who you're highlighting here.
And, you know, I probably have an inclination again towards this. I have a love of African-American history. In my entrepreneurial journey, you know, going back to something that's close to me, I didn't have to, you know, go very hard or push or go outside of myself to go to the Library of Congress and study more about their lives and find documents related to these things. The doors of this thing has opened up for me personally. The biographer of Bessie Coleman, Doris Rich, lives right here in the area.
Really?
And was talking about Bessie somewhere, and her daughter-in-law said, hey, let me go introduce you to my mother-in-law. She's 86 years old. She lives in Chevy Chase. And she now shared even more about the person's lives. So this journey has really brought alive some more about these folks. But their lives are very important, and their stories need to be told. hopefully their stories can excite young people to think in new ways about opportunity and possibilities.
Well, I think this is a great way for us to teach our young people about their history and so forth. Now, where can we find these line of action figures, Sterling?
Currently, they can be found on my website, hiatoys.com, www.hiatoys.com.
Okay.
But over time, I hope to get some distribution partners and get them to area stores. But at this time, this is a startup. I've just introduced the series, and so right now the web is the best place to get them.
How long have you been in business? Just curious.
I guess I started down this journey for this idea about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so it's taken me to China. It's taken me to work with people on the West Coast who I haven't even met face to face, but through the Tom Friedman, The World Is Flat, I've got a number of strategic partners that are located in different places.
Now, are these action figures made here in the United States?
No, they are made in southern China.
Okay. Okay.
And so,
okay.
But there's a number of people who've been involved as far as the branding, the marketing, the distribution, the creative aspects that are here. So a number of people have been involved here. But using the best practices in this industry, no, we did go to China here.
What's that website one more time, Sterling?
www.hiatoys.com.
Well, you've done a fantastic job here. All the best to you, and congratulations. Magnificent dolls. Again, you want to check out that website, Benjamin Banneker, Matthew Henson, Bessie Coleman. Great line of action figures here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.